Project Noir, yeah.
Come on.
Come on, man. Okay, we got a hot episode today. I'm trying to hop straight in. You know what I'm saying? We got a special guest today. Darren, please introduce yourself.
Alright, well, my name's Darren. I've met Prince working in various different places. I've just come on the show today to discuss the topics that they're mentioning, so looking forward to it.
Let's go, man. I mean, okay, so today we're looking into kind of like the microaggression of racism that is kind of in Britain, you know what I'm saying? It's persistent, you know what I'm saying? So that sort of, I wouldn't call it light, but that sort of lower level oppression that goes on.
You don't know whether
every day.
You can say something without people going to the angry black man thing.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you see, just stuff like that, even covering stereotypes. That's what I want to look into today. But everyone, I just want to say, vague question. So what's your experiences when it comes to like microaggression, racism, or just lower level oppression that goes on?
I'll say for me, all express come off the top of my head was in college actually, and you were there, Prince, when we played basketball all lunch.
Oh man.
All we wanted to do is get water from the water fountain. Out of nowhere getting called in saying we're just a group of guys looking like, they called us a gang.
They called us a
gang for waiting around the water fountain.
Let me explain that whole story. Okay, basically every I think it was Tuesday and Wednesday lunchtime, there was like a basketball session in the sports hall, innit? So straight after class, you go to the sports hall. But today it was cancelled, innit? So we're now, remember, this is the beginning of lunch. So we've just found out that lunch is cancelled. So we're like on our way to like the waterfall and cafeteria area. And it's a one-way system. So obviously everyone that's walking to the cafeteria is with us, fam. So why has it become a point where we are now singled out? Like, out of everyone that's rushing through, it was our group of basketballers, and obviously we're all together because we just found out together that there's no basketball. Probably like 8 of us.
Yeah, so
I say there was a good 8 of us, not counting. It was a good 8 of us walking through, and yeah, I think we ended up waiting in the hall for a bit, and there was a thing where, how can they come and tell us that we were terrorizing teachers, fam?
They said we were intimidating teachers.
Gee, I was like, what? Because we got called in the next day. I mean, I came into school late that day, but it was a thing where I came in, I heard, oh, Prince, why are you here? They called your name out in assembly. Yeah. I was like, what? What do you mean they called my name out in assembly? I was like, yeah, they called you, Cyrus, Tapiwa, and I immediately knew it was about that thing. So they must have called us to the head of sixth form, yeah? Not even like tutor or anything. Head of sixth form, they called us to our office, yeah? And she must have just said, first thing she said, look guys, I don't even want to hear your side of the story.
She
just said, look, I don't want to hear what your side of the story is. I've heard you've been terrorizing teachers, you walk around intimidated, you're all big strong lads. You know, everyone's intimidated when you walk around in the big group.
She tried so hard not to say the word black.
She tried
so hard not to say that.
Is you being big and strong something you can control?
Oh my days, bro. That's what I'm thinking. And there's a thing where it's lunchtime, bro, so everyone is walking with us, fam. You know what I'm saying? It's a thing where we all got singled out. Bruh, I was like, what is this, man? That's what I'm saying.
On the school topic, I remember when I was younger, yeah, there was like a group session. This was probably like year 7, 8, and there was like 20 kids. There was just like a big group, and they would take us out of lessons sometimes, and they would do like some behavioral like workshops and stuff like that. And I can't even remember why we got chosen. It wasn't like an incident happened, and like it just happened. So I guess you could say some of us were kind of bad, whatever. And I remember we used to call it Black Group. Because it was just the black kids.
Wow.
Like, we were just in a group and we were doing workshops.
I didn't even know that.
And I remember, like, it wasn't called Black Group. I don't even remember what the name of the group was. But, yeah, we just used to call it Black because they just got all the black boys and we were just in a group doing workshops.
Oh, they took you out of class, bro?
Yeah, and we didn't even really know why. Like I said, some of the kids were bad. We can't say all of the, like, 20 kids were all bad, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Little things like that. No explanation. And when you're a student in the high school system, a lot of the times you can't question because they don't have the answers because they know the answer they're giving you is false or racist, and because they're teachers and they're supposed to be your superiors, they can just tell you. They'll
just slap that threat of, we'll call home, this, that, the other, and they know that your parents are handling it.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? They know that they know your parents are serious when it comes to punishment and this, that, the other. See, it all comes down to stereotyping at the end of the day. I didn't even know about that story though. It all comes down to stereotyping, bro.
You know what used to happen to us? I think you guys have seen it. It was Miss Lewinsky.
Yes, yeah.
So we would always be by the IT block, computer science block, always like every single lunchtime, every break time,
before school,
after school, during wherever like we're not in lessons, we're there. So whenever we're there, like everyone like eventually like people will just come from their classes and come there. Like all the people in my youth group, or majority of people in my youth group who are black or Asian or of some ethnic minority descent, would always go there and just talk, eat, just do whatever you're doing there. Yeah, whatever you're doing, you do it there. Yeah. Now the white people used to do the exact same thing, like the exact same thing, but they did it over by the field, like where the fence is. They used to stand there and do it there. They did everything. They had speakers playing. We didn't even play music at this point. Like we were just there talking. They used to play music, everything, speakers, everything. Yeah. A teacher's never ever troubled them ever unless there was a fight. Yeah. I don't think we've ever had like an actual fight by the IT block, but we'd always have at least 2 teachers standing there watching us. At least
true, yeah.
Miss Lewinsky and maybe the head teacher or someone, or Mr. Billington. And
there's a thing. I'm just gonna add on to your point. There's a thing where you know they're there for them because the playground was never that busy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, everyone was by the tennis courts.
The tennis courts would have less teachers there. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's actually true because until we started playing basketball there, and even after we stopped playing basketball in the playground, there's a thing where there was no one, like there was hardly any students there.
And the thing is, we even tested the theory. We even went over towards you know where the where you take a right and turn onto the tennis courts.
Okay.
We went and just stood there for a bit, and the teachers followed us.
Wow.
So it was like, what are you here for? You're not patrolling the playground because there's kids over there getting slide tackled in the playground. You're not worried about that. You're worried about us. It doesn't make sense.
Gee, and that playground, that's a hard ground. That's concrete.
Yeah, that's funny. We used to play basketball like at the front of school in the IT blocks area.
Yeah.
They remember they removed
the basketball
and put them all the way at the back of the school.
Oh my!
That's where we reside. We play basketball.
Maybe I should explain that basketball.
And they removed us from the.
It's actually true.
I'll never forget when we came back from the some holiday and just saw it not there.
Gee, you know the maddest thing. Yeah. Oh, okay. Basically, I say from year. After you moved there in year 9.
We moved there. Yeah. Like towards the end of year 9.
Towards the end of year 9. Yeah. And then it's like the beginning of year 11. We've been playing here every single day before school, break time, lunchtime.
Even after school.
Gee, it was full time. Okay. If you calculate the hours, we were playing basketball full time.
Full time.
That's what I'm saying. So it's a thing where you know we're there because we're even there after school. You know what I'm saying? I've stayed there until 6 p.m. some days. Yeah. There was weeks I probably stayed there most days until 6 p.m. Dude, that was my prime, fam. But yeah, I'm just not as good at basketball anymore. But it's a thing. It's a thing where you knew that that's our place here, and the way that we found out that they were getting moved here, it was I forgot her name, fam. Is it Miss Large? Is that a teacher? Yeah, okay, so it is Miss Large. Yeah, G. We must have just been walking through the cafeteria one random day, and she came up to us and was like, "Oh, so you guys, how do you feel that the basketball courts are being moved?" I was like, "What? Well, which ones, fam?" I was like, "What?" She said, "Yeah, your ones, the ones on the playground, they're getting moved." I was like, "What? So what? Is this a thing where you're asking our opinion on whether they should be moved, or are you now telling me that they have been moved and we were meant to know about it?" She said, "Nah, you guys were meant to know about it. So who was meant to come tell us?" Because we're there every single day.
You know we're there.
All the free time we're there. Most of us will pack lunch, so it's a thing where we eat there. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Our whole community, we did homework there. That was genuinely our home in school. You know what I'm saying? That was genuinely our home in school. And there's a thing where they made a decision that was above us and just made it. And there's a thing where it was obviously to distance us from the school, from whatever, I don't know. But there's a thing where I even remember going to Miss Masonda. I wrote a long email. I wish I had the email here, fam. If my school email wasn't locked off, I'll pull it up. It was a long email, well written. And then it was a thing with me explaining, "Oh, now this is why I shouldn't be moved. It's not a health and safety hazard." Because I think what
they had like 6 courts in one small area.
I think what they end up saying was they end up saying it's a health and safety hazard. But what their solution was for the courts
was a health and safety hazard.
It was even. Yes, I'm saying
you have to paint a picture of the courts the way it was before. Yeah,
it's literally one.
It was a half. if you know what basketball is, you know what a half court setting. It's just one basket and you just play there. Yeah, we had 2 separate half court settings. Yeah, when we used to play basketball
on a big playground.
So yeah, on a spacious playground as well. Yeah. So now what they did is they got rid of that and put 4 like benches there that you can sit on both sides of and eat and like kind of
2 benches, bro. Actually,
nah,
as in 2 on the courts. The 4 were like Quay. The 4 were near PE.
Wow.
Yes, they replaced the whole basketball court with 1 bench.
I heard that. Yeah. So then they had that, but then where they ended up putting the courts, they had 1 full court there. I think another full court next to it, but then they had another half court running through the middle of it. So if kids were to play on that half court like by themselves, just shoot around, and then on the full court next to it, another group of kids would be running down that side chasing the ball, they'll just collide.
Yes, you couldn't physically play on both courts.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You couldn't physically play because if you're playing on both courts, you're gonna have people running across each other. It's even more of a
and then while you're running, the ball could be on the floor. You're tripping, and
that's the thing. They might as well have taken
a plan for like 2 things. One, the most important thing, how they're actually going to school and educate black children in schools, and B, like in like recreational times, how they're actually going to separate you both. Do you think do you think they feared integration at that point? Because what you guys are saying is touching on the surface of like what I've been through. Obviously, I'm a lot older than you, man. You know, sort of thing. I remember back in the day, like it was more a sort of keep us apart from each other type thing. And then when we were sort of going back into classes after, you know, playing out or whatever, they'd put us in different lines. So you had the Asian people in one line, one line. I went to school in Stopsley. So I went to Ramage Infants, Ramage Juniors, then Stopsley High School. Like that, and in every single one of those schools,
that's crazy.
That was the situation, and remember this was like in the early 80s, so you know, sort of thing. Like we were going to school, like, and I noticed we were far more advanced from an academic point of view, even though some of us had dysfunctional home setups and whatever. We were still repping from an education point of view, but at school we were being put in different classes or not having the same attention paid to us as all the white youth and all them kind of thing there. Do you get what I mean? And there was like more 2 types of racism that we kind of had to deal with. One, directly from the youth then, where it was a situation being a black youth, you didn't go home and tell your parents because it obviously was quite strict Jamaican upbringing, so they expected you to kind of deal with that yourself at school. So then next minute you're thinking, right, okay, so I've got to turn to violence now. Next minute you're licking down bare people, you're getting in trouble at school. The teachers are saying to you, right, okay. And this was a disclaimer that they, looking back now, this is a disclaimer that they kind of use for like racism at school. Sticks and stones may hurt my bones, but names will
that's supposed to solve the issue.
And I used to think to myself, well, hold on, this actually is. Did you get what I mean? Sort of thing. So the more frustrated you got with that, the more frustrated you got with the youth them and stuff like that. I got into some serious scrapes. Serious. Because it looked like every single time you had any kind of bust up or even a fight with a racist at school, it's like they were trying to kill you.
Yeah.
You know, sort of thing. It was like literally like, you know, sort of thing. I remember before I actually started going to school, one of my uncles, that was a different generation, who went for something a lot more peak. But he sat me down and said, Darren, you know, any time you get in a fight with any of these, like, you have to know that they're actually trying to kill you. And as a young youth, I'm thinking, right, I just want to go and play football with my mates. And I'm getting told all this stuff, do you get what I mean? Sort of thing. Don't let them get you on the ground. All these little tips.
Wow.
Like that, do you get what I mean? Sort of thing. So at school now, it's a thing where, you know, you're fighting them in class, you're fighting them when you're playing outside class. Then the beef goes onto the road on the way home. Then it starts the next morning. You're travelling to school. So that was the kind
of
cycle.
And the black kid's going to get the blame at the end of the day.
That
We're
was the
supposed
kind
to
of
be
cycle.
the violent one. Yeah.
You know, sort of thing. So we were already perpetuated as violent, unmanageable, don't comply, don't listen and stuff like that. And then when we decided to revert to our culture, like hairstyles and all them kind of things there, Stopsley High School, you got suspended for having a flipping number 2 flipping fake.
That's something I brought up in one of the past episodes.
Yeah.
My friend got he got excluded for 2 days because his hair was too short.
There you go.
And that's 2020.
That's
You know what I'm saying?
it's
That's
happening
2020.
now.
And in
Yeah.
them time there, you know, sort of thing, like my stepfather come up to school now and he actually had a sit down meeting with the headmaster then and said, look, you know, what does how Darren's hair look reflect on how he learns or how much he actually
Or even on anyone else. How
and they
does
couldn't manage that
Yeah.
question. The sort of thing. So every time they suspended me, like he would just take me home and teach me himself. Like that stuff. Do you get what I mean? Sort of it. And the English and thing that he taught me was way better than they were teaching me at Stopsy anyway.
And you have to know. You have to have that sort of English in it. 'Cause
Do you see what I'm
even
saying?
the way that he went to go speak to the headmaster, it has to be a thing where he's well articulate.
spoken,
You know what I'm
yeah.
saying?
He's
Yeah,
quick.
yeah.
Not
This
all
is
people like
the
that.
brother, deep Jamaican. If he was round us, he'd just talking, you know, whatever. But for them, he had to give them a
You
different.
have to take away all
situation.
the, we have to take away all the anger, all the
Yeah,
everything.
'cause you strip it back.
You have to use their own weapons against them. 'Cause
Yeah,
they don't take
true.
it seriously otherwise.
Yeah, you know, sort of thing. So that happened, and then just right the way through school, there was points where, as a youth, you'd be thinking, yeah, go on, you know, academically, from a sports point of view, blah 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 blah. From a sports point of view, it's a different thing as well because I had people. There was other black youths that are way better than sports than me, but they weren't getting picked for football, athletics, or whatever. And if they were being left on the bench and all that kind of thing there. Because you had all these little social circles at school whereby flipping Joe Bloggs, his parents might be on the flipping school governor's board. So you done know, say he was getting flipping centre forward every week and blah blah blah.
He financed the school, fam.
And do you get what I mean? Flipping parents sponsored this and parents sponsored that. So there was all them little holdbacks. Do you get what I mean? Sort of thing. And then you left school. And I just remember, because this is like 91, 92 times now. Yeah, so you're on the road now. You've just been fighting for the best part of 11 years because you're in school for 11 years, isn't it? Like, and then you got to you're in school for like 15 years and you go college or whatever. So I come out now, and obviously you've just been fighting races for the past 15 years in different schools, from infant school going up to high school. Next minute you're out on the road now, you're going sixth form, you're going college now, so it's a different type of situation. You're still fighting, but you're fighting other students and you're actually fighting people out on the street now because it's 1991.
They see you as a man now.
Yeah,
They see you
that's
as a
true.
man. Any kind of scuff you're getting into, it's with big men, not even people your age, like that sort of thing. And you got racists looking for black people to beat down on the whatever given line that they're getting drunk.
That's the
So you're
Sunday
dealing with-
entertainment.
Yeah, you're dealing with all them channels now. Then Stephen Lawrence happened.
Yeah.
Like
R.I.P.
that.
Stephen Lawrence.
R.I.P. Stephen Lawrence. That shook up enough, man. And the thing is, counselling and all them thing there wasn't so
Wasn't there.
on deck them time.
Okay.
So any one of us, man, could have been a Stephen Lawrence before Stephen Lawrence. Then, you know, I'd say 3 in 5 black men were getting in them kind of scrapes. The same or even worse. Like that. Do you get what I mean? Sort of thing. So that happened. And then the 90s started to progress, and then the direct kind of name calling and all that kind of thing kind of stopped. Then you ended up in the workplace where it went more underground, but was still there in your face.
Yeah.
You're dealing with a different enemy, but it's the same one. Do you get what I mean?
And you don't have much choice in the workplace, you know. You have to take it. You know what I'm
Trust.
saying? Especially if there's no other jobs around.
It's
You
hard
have
enough
to
to
take
get in
it.
a job.
It's hard to get a
man
job,
anyway.
Yeah.
So
Do
once
you
you're in
see
that
what I'm
position,
saying?
I understand
You're
that.
dealing with that situation. You turn up tomorrow for an interview now, and as a black youth, you're sitting there. There's a few white youths there. You're the only black man that's in the flipping room, like that sort of thing. So you're looking at them now. This is all thought process and stuff which we have to go through, and they don't. You're sitting in the waiting room now. You're looking at all the white youths, thinking, "Rah, he's got this, he's got that. He's probably going to get the job because he's white, and I'm not because I'm black." So you should
That's
be
another
there.
layer of anxiety.
That's another layer of things. So you should be sitting there preparing, going through all your thing that you might have prepared for
But you're
the
not even
interview.
focused on that.
Yeah, but you're not fully focused on that. Whereas here and there, you're sitting there thinking, "Yeah, go on."
Yeah.
Like looking at you now, thinking you ain't get nothing. Blah,
It's
blah,
true,
blah,
yeah.
blah,
It's
blah.
true though.
So there's
You're
types
raising
of-
his confidence.
do
fam.
you get what I mean? You're like, you're just existence. He just needs to look at you and think, "Yeah, go on, this is like work for me." Did you see what I'm saying? Like, so there's 2 different thought processes that have been happening. And the thing is, from an employment point of view, most of the people actually doing the employment aren't from the streets.
Yeah.
They live in, and fair play to them if they've worked and whatever, fair play to them wherever they live. But the realness is most of these people don't come from our background. So when they're hiring and blah blah, they're looking at us thinking, no, you know, I'm not going to the Rotary Club and having drinks with his parents. He don't live in my close or whatever. Some of these people live in country backwaters where there's only 2 or 3 houses. So as soon as they see one of us now, they're thinking, nah, this is too much.
Yeah, it's
for me.
alien
it's
to
true.
me.
And
This-
you know another thing. You know how you brought up before that you were you're fighting racism during school and that.
Yeah.
The people that you've come up with in school, they're now going on to become employers as well.
Yeah, trust.
That's not like they go
True,
away.
'cause-
They're employers now.
That's
Because
the big point.
they got their education. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? They got their
Do
education.
you
They
get what I
did
mean?
it.
That's a big point. So you're bucking up on them as well. Do you get what I mean?
Another thing when it comes to employers, I even spoke to someone about this the other day. I never even deeped it. The thing where, as an employer, even if it's subconsciously, even if you don't know you're racist, is a thing where you hire people that you relate to.
This is
Yeah.
what I'm
So
saying,
true.
and this
Yeah.
is why
You hire people like you.
representation is so important, and
Yeah.
a lot of people don't understand. They think we're just like, we want more black people for the sake of having black people.
Yeah.
To be
It-
seen.
it's not for
Yeah.
image. Yeah, it's not for
You know
image,
what I mean?
gang.
Sort of thing. But I think now the recruitment's got to go on in a way where the people recruiting actually deal with us on the like closer level, not just because they watched flipping something on the TV or they saw Stormzy
Saw Blue
flipping
Story and
blah
that,
blah.
yeah,
and
they
they're
understand,
thinking,
yeah.
go on, I know a couple of words. Let's just get a black person in. Blah 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 blah.
Dance
blah.
for me, do this.
Do you get what I mean? Sort of thing. I tell you what I hate, yeah, when white people said to me, Darren, talk Jamaican for me. Like I'm a performing scene. Do you see what I'm saying? Like when I decide to go into that side of things, it should be because I've made a decision,
Yeah.
not because someone said, Darren, talk Jamaican for
And
me.
the thing is, if you're like a bit rude, like no, then they think you're
Yeah, you've got an
aggressive.
attitude.
Yeah.
The term given for most of us black people, or all us black people back in the day, and even still now, and I know they made this for us. Oh, he's got a chip on his shoulder.
Yeah, I've heard that
They
a lot
made
of
that
times.
for
I've
us,
heard that a
Jack.
lot
I
of
didn't even know
times.
those spots.
Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
They made that for, like, I've heard that for years. Oh, you've just got such a chip on your shoulder, you know, sort of thing. And I just think to myself, that's just some cliche that was made up to kind of package up our state.
All
one
the
of our
things we're
states of
dealing with,
mind
the
and-
complexities of being a
and
black.
stuff
Yeah.
like that. But it's not that. Do you get what I mean? Where our feelings have snowballed from years and years ago, generationally, yeah. Where now, do you get what I mean? The black man and woman now is facing totally different things. We're coming up against black people who aren't representing us properly.
100%.
Black people that have got platforms
Tokens.
and still aren't representing
They're not
us
using their
properly.
platforms.
Like that. We're also, and I've got to highlight this, I think we're also our own worst enemy because the derogatory words that we don't want to be called are getting used.
We're
in our
using
culture.
yeah.
That's a topic.
That's a
man.
big topic. That's a big topic.
That's a topic.
That's a big
Do you
topic.
get what I mean?
I'm a victim
So-
to that. Like, I
so,
see
and
that.
to be honest with you, I can talk my way out of most things, but if a white brother was sat right where you are today and said to me, right, Darren, cool story, but you're calling yourself the N-word, so what? Do you get what I mean? I'll be like,
That's
no
actually my
argument
that's
do you
actually
see
my
what-
reasoning.
Do you
with
see what I'm saying? And I'm noticing it's like, obviously from my point of view and age that I am, I've seen enough different music come true. Yeah. And when I was growing up, the N-word wasn't used in music, but music was still sold. So I'm thinking to myself, have the record labels spun artists round so much now where they're thinking, right, I can't get a deal unless I use the N-word in
Yeah,
my music.
true.
Coffee doesn't. And she's smashing it.
Yeah,
Do you see what I'm saying? There's various different artists that are smashing it and don't use it. So really and truly, I think we have to clean up our own house in certain respects. That's one of the main ones, sort of thing. Like I don't understand. We're selling when we sell drugs to each other and all of
Destroying
that.
our own community.
Do you see what I'm
But
saying?
I guess
Like,
that comes down to like it's
Opportunities.
us, but yeah, opportunities, but that's been set up kind
That-
of.
that
in a way.
has.
Like yeah,
That
it has been orchestrated to some degree.
sort of thing. Because some people's CVs are that F.
Yeah.
Where even if they walked into an employer, they just get laughed at.
Yeah.
So their mindset changes and they think, right, I've just got to just trap them. Do you get what I mean? Sort of thing. But pulling back to things in the workplace, I think the moment you're actually employed, there's an agenda that's actually been set out for you. Like the moment they give you that job offer, they've already decided what's going to go on for you, like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 6 months, maybe even 10 years down the line, and none of it includes promotion. They're just looking at you like, right, you're going to work like a dog, you know. We might throw you a couple crumbs and all that. Because I remember when I used to be a salesman, I used to I was a really, really good salesman, like that still. And
I believe that. I know you. I believe that.
I was a really, really good salesman, and I used to start working at these companies, start smashing it, start getting all this commission and stuff like that. But when I was looking at like being a team leader or blah blah blah, I noticed that door was always closed. And they'd chuck some more commission at me, or the boss might lend me his car, or send me on a trip somewhere and stuff. And I used to get gassed at it all, thinking, go on. But the promotion was just always down there. Like, and the people that made the big decisions and stuff was never really me.
So you're getting like temporary benefits, innit? But the long-term, permanent
I was
benefits.
working like a dog, and it was the same format in every single place, you know. And I was getting gassed up. I was young, and were throwing all this stuff at me and whatever. But then, you know, stuff that I was hearing, getting said to me, oh, you lot. Oh, Darren, you're wearing those angry clothes. Oh, you listen to that angry music. Blah blah blah. What's happened? And I used to think to myself, what is it these people are really scared of? Like, you know, sort of thing. Like, you get close to anyone, and someone say, "No, Darren, go and do your work." And then you'd see two white youths across
like
there chatting and blah blah
blah
blah. And you think to yourself, "Hold on, what's actually going on here?" The boss would be cool with you one moment, and you'd be thinking, "Yeah, go on." You know, even though I haven't sold much this week, the boss is still cool. Then in front of other people, just switch. And you're looking around thinking, who's going to back me? No one.
See, the maddest thing here is, I can't speak for everyone else on this panel, but it's a thing where every single thing he just named, I can think of a memory for it. You know, probably a few of them. You know what I'm saying?
When I was speaking, then I thought, right, I'm pretty sure each and every one of these men have got a situation which they can align with what I've been.
That shows it's a mainstream problem, fam.
Like, they'll even use women as flipping, because they say a man can never resist the temptation of a woman. So what they'll do to mash you up even more, they'll fling a Chris Gal into your mix now to take you off your work and onto
That's
her.
Crazy, yeah.
Did you get what I mean, sort of thing?
I never peeped that stuff until you started pointing out.
You just got to be really, really careful. You know, I think nowadays, what I would advise every black man and woman, any workplace you go into, before you even say a single word to anyone, deep out the whole place, the whole structure. Work out how they go on, who's top this and who runs their mouth and who's this and who's that and that. And then if you want to start making your name known, do it. Don't just jump in foot first thinking, go on, I can run this, I can be who I am on the streets in the workplace, because it's not going to work. You've got to come with a totally different personality. 2 other components I'd say are required. You need to be able to speak properly, like that, because these people talk a totally different language to us, Dread, and like, you know, the way we speak doesn't reflect on how intellectually or intelligently equipped we are. It's just not sharp enough. It's just not edgy enough. It's just
that happened to me in uni actually. I was speaking. She said, I didn't expect you to speak. She was like, oh, you speak so well.
Yeah.
So I was thinking, why is that a surprise?
Because she's already decided that you speak at a certain level. It's already been put out there that we speak in a certain way. We have a certain intelligence, intellectual and everything. It's already been decided, Trent. So all we got to do is learn the law like that, and I'm talking with police and employment law. Like that sort of thing. Employment law, we've got to learn. Like from the ground up. Like, just to say to your people, at the end of the day now, flipping, with regards to breaks, because we've spoke about this.
Yeah, I didn't know until you told me.
Not a lot of people know the official line on like breaks. Yeah. So if you work, it's one of two things, and it needs clarifying properly. If you work either a minimum of 3 hours or a minimum of 4 hours, you're actually entitled to a 15-minute break, like that. No one can't, even the CEO can't come and tell you nothing for that. Yeah. Anything after 4 hours, it's a half an hour break. Yeah. You can't work, even if you work 3 hours and 1 minute, or 4 hours and 1 minute.
15 minutes.
Yeah, that's over. Yeah, so that means whosoever's gone over that breaking UK employment law, at such time you can say, I'm not doing any more work.
Oh yeah.
And nobody can do you anything.
See, that's so mad, because it's a thing where at Amazon I've definitely done that over 4 hours.
Yeah,
That's the thing,
trust.
I've definitely done that.
The way they do it, I think with Amazon, I think what they do, they work out who's who, and they work out
Who they can do
speak
to what.
and who they can make a fool of and who they can't. Yeah, and they also work out people who don't mind being made a fool of and who they can whatever. And then they look at the people that are problems. That would be all of us. Yeah, and they think, I'm gonna have a problem with him. I tell you what, if I do this and I do that, he might come round. If not, he actually might. He might not. And if he doesn't, we're gonna have to start factoring him out of business. And what they start doing, they got these little dibby little things which they do. So they say to you, right, okay, if you out of a 10.5 hour shift, if you're seen to be not working for like
time on task.
for at least an hour, then they start marking that.
I think it's even it's 45 minutes. Like
it?
if you ever go without scanning an item for over 5 minutes, it adds onto your time off task.
Trust.
And so you have 45 minutes on that
Trust.
in a whole 10.5 hour shift. So and it's even a thing where obviously I'm packing. Sometimes I need to go get boxes, fam, or I need to go get water. So if I get a box and then go get water as well and then drink the water and leave, because you can't even take water back to your desk and then like a cup or anything. So if I'm drinking the water there and I go get boxes, come back, that's 5 minutes off. You know what I'm saying?
And then walking that down the river.
If I need to go toilet, come back 25 minutes, just like that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, they do that.
Mark all of that down.
But one thing you did say, yeah, is like they'll do a little thing to make you happy, fam. Gee, I only just deep that they actually did that to me, fam. I only just clocked it now because I got an indirect shift on my second week, fam. You know what I'm saying? Indirects are usually something that's saved for the people that have been there for a while, people that experienced what they're doing. I got indirects on my 5th day, fam. Like second week, first day, they put me on talk running. You know what I'm saying? So now that I think about it, it was definitely something to keep me happy, fam.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Tickle
Yeah.
your tummy, throw you some crumbs, kind of
Cause I can't even lie, it did work. Like, I started working harder to get back on that indirect shift because it was just for that day, fam. You know what I'm saying? Even to this day, I haven't done talk running again in my department. I haven't done talk running again. I've done it in other departments, but I've not done it in my department since. That's crazy. It's been like a good 18 weeks since then. See, nah, when you say they'll do something little just to make you happy or just to get you working, that's actually it's true, fam. I never even deep down until you just said it now.
The way Amazon's set up, most of the people that make the decisions there, aren't English.
Yeah.
And what smashes it, you got the world as a whole. There's a lot of people that
I can't name
English.
one that is.
Yeah, but you know, there's a lot of people that aren't English that make decisions there, and most of them are Romanian and Polish. So if we deep it a bit more now, Romanians and Polish people either A, haven't seen many black people, or B,
or any.
seen any.
Yeah.
So next minute, tutus now, they might have only been in Britain a year. Suddenly they catch up on a team leader role at Amazon. Yeah, remember, say some of them may have A, haven't seen any, or B, hardly any. All of a sudden, they've been in Britain for under a year. They've been given the flipping high-powered team leader position at Amazon.
Because they promote each other.
And not only are they seeing bare black people, they're running them.
And you've heard things about black people.
Yeah,
you're going to enforce.
Exactly.
That's
Yeah,
when you don't know black people, you haven't really seen or communicating with black people. You purely operate off what you've heard.
Just heard.
And you don't hear good things about black people.
So they've turned up now. They're thinking, hold on, my life's just gone from one good stage to the next minute. I'm running people that I've never even seen.
You know what I'm saying? It's the
They
power.
might have
You're
listened
power
to
hungry
50
too.
Cent or whatever. But barring that, they haven't been this close.
You know what I'm saying?
The next minute, that's when they start their regime of what I believe is just terror upon black folks. And they know for a fact that A, because we're not that united or not united at all, and B, we don't have any decision makers or team leaders or people in management, they can do us how they want, like that. And C, they'll know we'll probably resort to kicking off before we actually convey ourselves properly and speak properly. So they can come to work on a daily basis, wherever they are in the UK, and just chief us up, like that. I reckon chief us up more than the Englishman, to be fair. You know, sort of in the Asian people, they're cool with us now. Do you get what I mean? They just do their thing, and we're all more kind of linked up, because we link up with Maroof and them, like, you know. But I think these days, in warehouses and manufacturing and industrial environments, you know, the people who we are having beef with are Romanian and Polish people, you know, sort of purely because of their lack of seeing us at all. Then after that, it's still the Englishman that I feel probably got picked on at school, his wife left him for a black man. There's all sorts of different reasons why certain white folks decide to pick us out. It's not just because they've just decided they've had experiences which has mashed up their mind.
Literally.
So in a latter point in life, they decide to take it out. I know a brother who's a police officer from Loose Farm. I won't name him, but at the end of the day now, you know, certain man knew him from when we was young and stuff like that, and he used to move around with us and everything. As soon as he's turned police officer, he switched, stopping us all the time and this and that. And we saying,
guys,
dance and all that kind of thing. Well, go on. Did you see what I'm saying? Like, so that's the switch there. People change.
With power, yeah, people definitely change with power. Because even just the regular Romanian workers, most of them, you have no problem with them. You know what I'm saying? Most of you have no problem with them. It's only once they get into power or once they associate with someone that's in power that they start becoming a problem. You know what I'm saying?
What can we do? Really and truly, be more united. Yeah? You know, when I was working there and everything, if you noticed, like, I went up to every single black person that was on deck. That I didn't even...
You knew everyone, fam.
I didn't even if I didn't even know them. Most of them were quite surprised that I was coming up and said, yeah, well, go on. Did you see what I'm saying? Like, all shook, like, who's this guy? What? I've never spoken to him, but he's saying hello to me. But I know it would still empower people. To the point where I stopped doing all that and people start coming to me now.
Because I think I came to you. I think that's how we met,
Do you see what I'm saying? Like, and that was because I just went round to everyone. I thought, well, them people are doing it, they're doing it, blah, blah, but we're just standing out here, not just looking at each other like, where. Do you see what I'm saying? So I thought, start breaking. And it was like the management started seeing it as well. And that's why I believe I became more of a problem there. Do you get what I mean? Like, when I started working there, everything was Chris. Everything was crisp. But it wasn't until I stopped jumping through hoops for them and all them kind of thing, I started meeting resistance from them and all them kind of way. And I started to get to understand the Romanians and the Polish people a lot better. Yeah. And I fell foul to that whole time of task thing where, I'm sorry, you can't have me standing at my station for 10.5 hours and I don't stretch my legs and go somewhere or go toilet or go chat. You know, I'm a human being. You can't keep a human being incarcerated like that. You can't in a like 2 by 3 meter space doing one thing repetitively. And plus, I'm a black man. I'm not going to show off about it, but we have we are difficult to satisfy. We get very, very bored. If you notice, like, you know, you can ask any black person around the globe, we've been calibrated and set up to do stuff. We're not set up to just cotch in one place and do the same thing. Our brains start to think, hold on, I want something extra. I want to do something else. Because we're different in that kind of setup. So that's why you'll find a black person will always try and do stuff, but go off and do other stuff at the same time, which I think it happens in the workplace. We're good at stuff, we complete stuff in a very, very quick time, then we just get bored quickly or distracted or something like that. Did you see what I'm saying? We're not as regimed as everyone else. But then that's when we're seen as a problem to workplaces. Oh, Darren, why aren't you doing your work? And blah, blah, I've already done it. I'm just, do you see what I'm saying? Like, that's where we're difficult to rule as well. I don't think they realise that black people are kind of different to just being Caribbean or African. Do you see what I'm saying? I think around the globe, if you used to say to someone, okay, where are black people from? Africa and the Caribbean, like that. But what they don't realise is Africa and the Caribbean intertwine with each other, like that. And we're basically from the same place. You know, like in Jamaica, you have people from Ghana, Senegal, Nigeria, the Congo, we're all there, like that, but they can't speak each other's language, and that's because of colonial division, like that. But they are all the same people, and they all come from West Africa. In Brazil, you have more European black people because they were mixed up with the Dutch and all of those guys. Yeah, so people like Neymar and all that, they're all black people, but you see their hair's different because they're European. You see what I'm saying? In America, you have Africans. But then you also have black people and Indian Seminoles that actually existed in America way before any white person even got there. You know, sort of thing. So that's black people. Mexican people are black people. Like that. You have black people in India and Pakistan. And we're spread all over the world. Do you see what I'm saying? But I think now the microscope's been put on us again. You know, we've had a few of us got murdered, so now the microscope's back on black people. I think this whole Black Lives Matter thing, I don't know, it's difficult how to speak about it, because at the end of the day now, in one breath, it looks like a good thing for us, but in another breath, I think to myself, how come it kind of conveniently just pops up and then disappears? It's not a 365-day thing, I think. It's only when one of us get brutally hurt or...
Yeah, that's what I've noticed. Anytime someone dies, like when George Floyd dies, it'll be trending on Twitter, and then a few weeks later it goes down in like July. And when Jacob Blake got shot recently, it's back trending again. Now if you check now, it's gone. It's not even
like the two that lasted longest were George Floyd and Sandra Bland.
Yeah.
Other than those two, I've not seen anyone have a long.
And I knew once those trends were going, it was going to die eventually. Like, people were going to protest every day. I was just sitting there thinking, I wonder how long this is going to last.
That's the thing. We wasted opportunity, man.
Put it this way, just to give you the business side of black murder. Yeah. If a black man or a black woman gets murdered in America, it makes money. And I'll tell you how it makes money. I'll tell you how it makes money. If a load of black people take to the streets, there's going to need police for that, innit? Which means overtime. Yeah? And that's that. Black Lives Matter get involved. Listen, I'll take you right down to the nitty gritty. A Black Lives Matter flipping badge that you put on your chest costs money. Yeah? So people, you have all these financial analysts and stuff like that basically sit back in their office and say, why? If we shoot a black man or a black woman, we can make X amount of money off this, like that. And it sounds ludicrous to see that all these revenues of all these channels of revenue actually happen. All these different people make money off terror. Good news doesn't really make money at the moment. Sort of thing. They tried the whole September the 11th, ISIS, Taliban thing for many years. They were kicking that around for many years. But I just think now they've probably rinsed out all the oil from all of these places and whatever, and they need a new subject. And it seems to be us, and it just seems to be like more sort of like institutionally now. We've got Stephen Lawrence. That case has been made inactive. Like that, I reckon when they bust that in the media, they were looking for us to lick the streets and start mashing up London, but we didn't.
And you know what it is? You know what it is about what he said, mashing up London? Do you know what they do? When you said they make money off of black people being killed. You see when we go out and riot, because black people just go out and riot like whenever someone gets killed, rather than actually protesting. It turns violent a lot of the time, So they go out and riot. They go up and smash buildings, whatever. They don't even realise that they're not doing anything, because at the end of the day, the insurance company are now going to pay that company back. And then that insurance company is now going to get a loan from the bank. And then someone else is going to buy that loan off the bank, add interest on it, and make money from it.
And this is where the business model of it all happens. In all war, money.
Wars. All of these wars are just
sort of thing. So right now, it's us that's being targeted all over the place, like that sort of thing. And then you might be out in the street in the supermarket, and then you happen to see a parent with a young son, say, or in a restaurant, and you hear, "Oh, eat your dinner. There's starving kids in Africa." And you think to yourself, hold on, well actually there's not starving kids in all of Africa. It's just the places that you've mashed up. Like that sort of thing.
And it's only the places that they've seen as well, because a lot of people who don't...
being shown.
Because a lot of people don't know black, especially white people, they don't really speak to or know black people.
No.
So whenever they see the news or on TV or anything,
that's all they're
seeing. When I went to my protest in June, I went there, one person had a scrap with a police officer. That's the only thing that was shown on BBC. The rest of the 6 hours, they didn't show no one. But as soon as I type in the protest outside Downing Street that I went to, all you see on BBC News, first thing you see is a man like this punching police. That's all you see. You don't see the rest of the 6 hours.
The media controls everything.
It's the way they word certain things to make it seem way more violent than it actually is.
You have to remember, all the legal people, whenever they speak in the media, legal people speak a totally different language, and it's called legalese. So when a black man, for instance, gets arrested and he ends up at Luton police station and whatever, he's hearing all these criminal terms and all this kind of stuff getting spoken. You notice he don't speak that language. So lawyers, QCs and all that kind of thing, they go to uni and stuff, and they go there to learn legalese. So when they're speaking with all the Crown prosecutions and the feds and cutting all these side deals and whatever, you're completely oblivious and you don't know where I've gone. However, if you could speak that yourself, you wouldn't even need a solicitor. You could go and talk up your thing yourself. You know, sort of thing. That's why it's all about being intelligently and intellectually skilled with the law in all aspects.
Yeah, knowing the laws.
In all aspects, like that 100%. Sort of thing. Knowing that, you know, you're all going to be fathers one day and stuff like, and you're not going to be able to watch your youths all the time, and you're going to need to, you know, you're going to have to furnish them up with info. So if your son gets stopped by a fella on the road, you know, sort of thing, you don't even have to get out of his car. You can just wind down his window and say, yo, you got to identify yourself before I even say another thing.
That's the thing. These things we don't know. We actually don't know. That's the thing.
The situation is, the police has to actually identify his or herself before you even have to speak another thing. You know, I own and run a model agency, and I have to put models in music videos, film, TV, and all them kind of thing. And bro, for the right money, I can get a police car tomorrow. Yeah, I could get a flipping police uniform like that, same as what they're moving. Yeah, and I could impersonate a police officer. So my thing is, if they ever stop me, which I haven't been for years now, they have to identify themselves, like that sort of thing. And there's various other things. When you get to the station, deny a duty solicitor, because a duty solicitor probably plays golf with the flipping.
They work for the police. So.
Like that. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, knowing that what they're probably going to do, they're probably going to lick you down with a number of charges, a lot of dibby ones, just in case the big one don't stick. Like that, they'll do that. You know, there's all types of different things. From a work point of view, you just have to make sure you know employment law and you're furnished with the paperwork. If you're in a disciplinary situation, it goes stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, and then final warnings, all of which are supposed to give you paperwork for, all of which you're supposed to have a witness present when you're having any kind of, you know, interviews or any kind of thing like that. Any kind of information about you with that company per se, you can actually ask them for, because it's data protection, it's your data, like that. And most importantly, because you're black, you're supposed to be given equal opportunities. If that company is saying that they're an equal opportunities employer, they need to be demonstrating that.
It's Project No Prince here, and I'd like to thank you for listening to that last episode. This episode is actually part of a 2-part series, so tune in next time if you want to hear the rest of this episode. Thank you.